I'm Angela, and last month I did a writing challenge where I made myself actually write every day. Was this done in February? Yes. Is that the shortest month of the year? Also yes. I will point out that because this is a leap year, there were actually 29 days. So it's basically a normal month. It's just one day short. And yeah, every day I wrote for at least 250 words, and this basically came from wanting to build more of a writing habit and make writing a more consistent part of my life. Also, I'd read this blog post recently where John Scalzi talked about Cory Doctorow, who writes at least 250 words every day, and that seems like a very manageable amount. I wrote every day for a month, and I'm not gonna lie, it was real rough because I was writing without a schedule. And then that meant that often I was writing at the end of the day, which is definitely not the time that I should write. Once I come home from school, I'm basically dead. But that was the choice that past Angela made, so that's sort of where we were at. We're sort of 3 different stages of this month. So for the first couple of weeks or so, I was working on this one short story, which I'm not gonna lie, y'all, was rough. Like, if I was not doing this challenge, I would not have finished that story, but it was what I was working on. So every day I would go write 250 more words in my little train wreck of a story. And that lasted me for about 2 weeks because that story was like 7,000 words. After that, I had a couple of flash pieces that I had in mind, so I wrote each of those in probably a day or two. I will say that most days I ended up writing more than 250 words, although it definitely depended, and it was never huge amounts. Like, at most, I maybe was writing 700 words a day. After I finished those 2 flash pieces, I was sort of adrift, I guess, because I didn't really have more ideas, and I wasn't really in a space emotionally or mentally where I wanted to develop more ideas. And then because my goal every day was to get 250 words, sitting back and like thinking about, oh, what should I write next, doesn't really count towards word goals. So I started basically just writing gibberish, like not actual gibberish, there were sentences, but I would just pick a random character and have them be in a place, which can, I think, be a useful exercise, but I was not doing it in any sort of intentional or thoughtful way. So I don't think it really was that. About a week into this, so we're probably 3 or so weeks into the challenge overall, I decided that I was no longer writing anything productive and decided that I should switch from writing 250 words a day to writing for at least 30 minutes a day so that I could include things like world building or just thinking about stories or everyone's favorite editing. And I did that for one day and then promptly went back to writing 250 words because it was way easier. The one thing that I will note after I went back to just writing 250 words is that I started actually following through with some of those characters, and I was having a lot of fun. Like, I don't think that I was really getting much out of it in terms of valuable content or even skills that I was building, but I was having a lot of fun writing in a way that has not been the case certainly throughout the rest of the challenge, and often has not been the case for me. So that was, I think, useful information. I definitely don't consider myself a pantser at this point, but I was really enjoying this discovery writing stuff. Although again, I don't know if it counts as discovery writing because it was all real rough and flailing around, and I don't think anything went beyond 700 or 800 words. Again, because my goal was just to write every day, it became really easy for me to abandon projects once I finished that first short story. Which sort of gets into this larger umbrella problem for me, which is that I keep saying that I'm going to start writing short fiction, and then as soon as I do, I immediately hate it. Basically, as far as I can tell, for me, like, if something is a flash piece, then it's fun because I don't really have to spend a lot of time thinking about the world or any of those other things. I can just think about plot and payoff and just playing with this idea and then putting it aside. With short fiction, you have to do, obviously, a lot of, like, world building and plotting and things that as soon as I start, I'm like, if I'm going to put all this work into it, it should be a novel. And so I think that on the short fiction front, definitely this was a failure. I need to circle back around to that if that's a goal that I'm serious about and sort of start strategizing. Starting, definitely, as I already knew, with reading more short fiction, something I keep saying I'm going to do and then don't actually do. Overall, I think I have 3 general takeaways. The first one is that it is way harder to make progress if I don't have an active project, which again, I guess should be obvious, but at least with the 250 word goal, like I said, I wasn't really creating a space that felt safe for me to like play or just discover or world build. And definitely that is something that I need to start thinking about. How do I support those things going forward? Takeaway number 2 was that I definitely do need a schedule. Even if I'm not sticking to the schedule, I think it would be helpful. The fact that I had no schedule definitely was a detriment. And then the third thing was, that just like writing for the sake of it was really fun, and there's probably space for me to be building in more joy and play into this craft. So definitely the 2 things that I think that I want to change going forward are building more of a schedule, and then working on creating just more of a space for play and less of a space for product, which I think is especially important because I keep saying that I'm at this point right now where I'm not planning on immediately publishing anything or doing anything like that. So that kind of actually having fun and enjoying what is, for now, at least in my life, a hobby, makes a lot of sense and is a thing that I should be doing, and I'm really not. So definitely that's a goal that I'm going to have going forward. March is going to be sort of a interim month for me. I get to print out and then edit my story, which I'm super excited about. I've actually already started reading it, and I've printed it, as I said. So I'm really enjoying that. And in April, I'm going to be doing something for camp. That's sort of where I'm at the moment. If you have a writing schedule that works for you, please let me know in the comments, or if you've done something similar where you've sort of been trying to build one, please let me know how that went or how that's going. And yeah, happy writing, everybody. But because it is a leap year, this is upside down.